Bears fans, YouTube, welcome back to another episode of Bears Fans Talk. This week's episode, we have a couple of trades the Bears made to kind of strengthen some weak spots. Bears are officially the preseason world champions, only team going 4-0.
Speaking of which,
Let's start. Kevin, ring the bell for us.
So now we have 4 preseason wins.
4 preseason games.
Here we go. Ready?
Let's go.
Super Bowl champs. Here we come.
So we're going to recycle now that we're going into the regular season. We're going to start back down to 0. Hopefully we'll ring in the bell 2 weeks from now. So
a little less than 2 weeks from now.
So this time next week, we'll be gearing up for the Titans.
For the Titans, yeah. They're going to say for KC Baltimore for the opener on Thursday.
That's true.
So weird NFL schedule thing, right? You get Labor Day, you get the Monday, and then you get Kansas City Ravens, great opening game
on Thursday.
Which is funny enough. Do you remember last year who Kansas City played in the opening game?
I do not.
The Detroit Lions.
Did they?
Do you remember who won that game?
The Lions, didn't
they?
The
Lions won that game. Yeah, when they raised the banner.
Casey looked bad at the beginning of the season.
Very
I feel
slow.
like that was like a storyline, but
it was also like another Thursday night game. Then we get the Friday game, which I think is in South America.
I do not know who the Friday game is.
It's the Eagles and I forgot what the other team is, right? And then we get a full slate on Sunday. And I think do we get 2 Monday night games week 1?
I think usually we do.
Yeah. So it's going to be like yes, we get the Bears on Sunday, but just in general, like football, we are like we're about a week and a half away from getting into the full swing of NFL football.
It's here. I'm just ready for the anticipation to be over with. I mean, we're joking about the 4-0 preseason game. We'll talk about that game, but you know what? The Bears look good in these games, and we're going to get into that a little bit more. But let's start. Wanted to do a quick breakdown of this week's episode of Hard Knocks.
Yep.
I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of passively watched this one. There was a lot of Tyson Bagent, which I liked. His dad, for some reason, just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I feel like he seems like a little bit of an attention grabber. Like, sure. I mean, whatever. Tyson's the same way. Tyson's obviously a big personality, too.
So
but he seems very, not... Like really focusing a lot of the limelight on him in this episode.
So my wife said I bet you he's like divorced and hangs out at a bar like every weekend. No, he's actually happily married to the same woman who him.
You Googled this up as soon as you said it. Okay.
He's got 4 kids. He actually looks like kind of a family man, which he kind of doesn't look like a family man.
No, he does not.
He doesn't portray that. So that was kind of nice and refreshing to see.
Okay, that's good.
So unless I didn't check the lineage of it, but I'm assuming it's from this whatever, right?
He's married to Tyson's mom.
Yes. Thank you. But I'm assuming, but he looked wholesome, and I was like, hey, that's cool. So you portrayed this. That could just be a West Virginia thing.
All right.
But other than that, though, I thought the episode. So I actually heard some more criticism on the episode. I didn't realize this before the episode. They hadn't sweared at all in Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
So that's very HBO.
It got real washed, yeah. And I didn't realize that the McCaskey, apparently they said it. I'm surprised that they are given so much creative control. You got a 90-something-year-old lady being like, you can't swear on HBO on your television program. And they're like, okay, fine. I figured they'd be like, whatever, lady.
Yeah. I was, when I heard that too, that's why I said the first episode was kind of vanilla. And I like now that they're going a little bit more into the storylines of the players a little bit more, and seeing a little bit more of Caleb and stuff like that. Which, speaking of which, something I noticed about the episode, Caleb spends a lot of time on his phone.
Everybody does.
I know, but it was just surprising. I thought one of the interesting one was they showed that interaction between him and Tyson Bagent, and they were in the QB room, and Caleb's just kind of sitting on his phone, just chilling.
Yeah, that's because that's 90% of people even our age are doing that.
I know. I don't know. I just feel that why put that in the episode though?
Okay, because they were chatting about things. We just had a very similar conversation where I don't know what you put NFL players on such a strange pedestal that they're just not allowed to do things. We were just looking at a picture. Was it Daryl Taylor's Instagram? We didn't like it because his hair is pink and it's a very look at me picture. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get to that.
People who make that kind of stage have that kind of personality.
We'll get to that. So he was a 2nd-round pick, and they traded him for a 6th-round pick, and he already has 21 sacks in
his career, but that's 3 years.
But still, though, that's more than Montez Sweat. So the reason first 3 years. The only reason I'm saying those facts are, there could be a character defect there, is what I'm saying. That's the only thing that I'm implying, and I'm not saying Like he
But
could
I
get
think-
revitalized coming to the Bears. I heard he's like great and he's super excited to be here. But what I'm saying though is when someone's willing to do something like that, there could be a character defect. I don't know the guy. I don't know anything about him. He's probably a great human.
But we were just talking about Caleb Williams being on his cell phone.
But why would you
before
put
practice?
But why would you put that in? Why would you put that in Hard Knocks?
Because the point is, it's supposed to feel authentic. You're supposed to feel you're watching these guys. Caleb is 22 years old. I am on my phone all the damn time, and I bet it's even worse for people younger than me.
I know it is. I don't know. I was just like a little surprised by that. But whatever. That was one thing. Another thing I liked was I didn't see the whole Big Cat episode when they interviewed Caleb Williams. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
Good for Big Cat to get into HBO Hard Knocks. Like super cool for him. Like his exposure is like the exposure I dream of. But like whatever. We're BFT. We'll pop and pop shop here. But anyways, the question that he asked him. Do you remember the question he asked him?
No, which one?
You have to kill a Bears fan, but you get 10 Super Bowls.
Kill a Bears fan? No, I don't remember this.
Yes.
I might have walked away for that. For that moment.
So that was.
What did he say?
He never really committed. He's like 10 Super Bowls is a lot of Super Bowls, and then like.
There's probably one Bears fan out there willing to be the person to be killed.
So I forgot the guy he interviews with.
It's not quite me, but
so I forgot the guy he interviews
if Caleb
with.
came to be like, man, hey, fuck, I gotta kill you, dude.
That's
like. I wish it wasn't me, man, but like whatever, do what you gotta do.
That's what he said. The guy he interviewed with the glasses, he goes like, "You can kill me." Like he's like, "You could do it." Like, and Caleb's like, "Man, 10 Super Bowls is a lot."
I guess in this scenario, is there an afterlife?
I mean, of course.
Of course. Okay.
So you get to watch in heaven.
Then of course you're killing me. Okay, fine. Yeah. In this man scenario, I get to watch in heaven for sure. Caleb, you can kill me.
You take it for 10 Super Bowls?
100%. I get to watch in heaven for sure.
Here's our sacrificial lamb.
all the Bears fans in heaven,
Yeah.
assuming that Bears fans go to heaven, which I like to think they do.
What if no one knew that you died for the cause?
Ooh. So you're just a straight martyr.
Yeah, you're just literally.
But you still get to watch in heaven.
Yeah.
Sign me up. All right. Wait. I've always seen myself as something of a martyr.
I feel like I would need people to know that.
You would need people to know.
I would need them to know that like he gave his life, like Jesus.
What the emotion that you're describing is probably one of the 7 deadly sins. I'm not sure which one it is.
I mean, not really though. Like with
Pride?
No, it's not pride. I don't know. I just watched 7 recently too with Brad Pitt.
What's in the box? I've never seen it. I've only seen the What's in the Box.
Do you want me to tell? I mean, it's like a movie.
It was a head.
But do you know whose head it was?
No, I don't know any other characters in that movie. Was it Brad Pitt's?
No, it was his wife.
Oh,
who was pregnant.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of hit home.
Could hit home.
Yeah, it was.
Do you worry often that your wife's head's gonna end up in a box?
No, but like it means so like these like. I've like we've talked about this before. I've rewatched Adam Sandler movies now. They're just so much more funny now that I'm like older and like.
I mean, Big Daddy specifically. Was there another Adam Sandler movie?
Like Happy Gilmore too. Like they're just so much more funny because I can relate to like some of the jokes when I watched it when I was 10 or 12 years old. Like I didn't really get what it was to be an adult.
Yeah, a lot of the Adam Sandler movies of that era kind of
Wedding Singer,
kind of predicated on being an adult who had not figured it out
exactly
yet. And I think that's lost on you as a kid.
But now that you are a functioning adult as a human, and it's just like wow, like that is actually a genius movie, a genius genius character by it. Like this is a Bears. Let's get back.
So you're talking about the Big Cat interview.
Anyway, so that was one of the cool things too. I thought it was really great to hear a lot, like a little bit more of Caleb's personality. The next thing that I want to talk about was so in the actual preseason game against the Browns, they had on Ryan Pace came on and they talked about the Judon trade.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, like we went for him and like it didn't work out. But he kind of like talked about it in the second half. Then on Hard Knocks, you got to see behind the scenes.
Yeah, that was cool.
Which I thought was unbelievable. And so like the fact that Pace does not want to make a deal with someone that he can't extend so the reason he didn't want to deal was he wanted to extend him, which is smart because he knows that the market's about to get reset.
Yeah. And
like
did Judon not want to be extended?
Remember, I said the quote last week when he was like, "Why would I want a Falcons to?" He didn't want to be.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which like, I looked at it from the standpoint of like, I think that's a man doing a man. But then when you take a step back,
no, he's betting on himself. He's hoping he's gonna have a great season, and then really earn himself a bigger money contract.
Even bigger contract. Because think about the Bears. The Bears got technically swept kind of at a little bit of a discount.
Potentially.
They definitely, without question, I think they got DJ Moore at a discount.
Yeah.
right? With the extensions.
I think DJ just wanted the security. DJ's probably like could chill here with his family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a team friendly deal, right? It's the players are getting paid, and we're not dealing with like the CeeDee Lamb stuff.
Yeah.
Which we're talking about in a minute, but like CeeDee Lamb holding out all of training camp, missing all preseason games. Like I don't want any of that. So the fact you kind of got to see how Poles is doing this, and like Kevin Warren came in, some advisor, I don't know who he was, like came in, and like it's just kind of cool to see him making deals.
Yeah. I understand the thinking of like not wanting to sign him or trade for him if we couldn't extend him.
That's a Poles sticking point.
That being said, like, maybe go for it a little bit more. I mean, I guess that's interesting. Yeah, I understand the logic, so I'm not going to knock him for it. And
I can't.
In polls we trust, as far as I'm concerned.
But here's the thing, though, Johnny. If you did trade for Judon, what did they give up? A second round pick or a third round pick?
No, it was less. I think it was less than that.
I think it was a third round pick.
It might have been.
But anyway, so you give that up, you don't re-sign him, and then he leaves after a year, or he asks for an extraordinary amount of money. You basically just wasted that pick.
Yeah.
So Poles wants like, hey, we're willing to pay you, but it's at a fair rate. I thought it was.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot
because I think from Judon's standpoint, it's like a super big like negotiation chip. Like you kind of have them raped over the coals. They already paid for you, and they're going to have to cut their losses.
Yep.
If they don't, so I'm sure that's going to make it easier for the Falcons to have to feel like they have to give them more money at the end of the day. So I guess that's smart. I guess that makes sense.
It was a third round pick, by the way.
Third round pick, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying though, is that like I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I really like seeing that behind the snes for me because like I kind of like envision myself as a fantasy owner.
Yeah,
I'm kidding, but like. But you know what I'm saying? That was cool to see the interaction. The next thing I really liked from the episode was, did you hear when they kind of gave a little Troy Taylor or whatever? They gave a little
Tory Taylor background.
Sorry, some background on him. Did you hear what he said? Caleb texted him on the.
Yeah, you're not going to be punting a whole lot. We had to talk about that in the podcast. You're not going to be punting a whole lot. I think there was like a meme that like he didn't know what it was and didn't respond right away or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's like, oh, fine by me, bro. Something like that. Yeah.
Dude, it was actually really funny. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Like, super funny thing that they put it in there.
I hope that he's a beast, man. Like, I was just listening when that draft came on. There was somebody on the radio on ESPN 1000 who was just like so against that
I was
move.
at first, too.
No, I was 100% on board. Like, we talked about it. Like,
dude, I'm so on board now.
Gil was such a bad punter. And now we're upgrading so obviously and so immediately.
Yep.
I think it's going to pay dividends.
Dude,
and what else were we going to get that fourth round pick?
I would have paid a third round. Dude, he looks amazing. He looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the holder too, which was interesting.
That's usually the case.
Yeah,
you kind of
backup quarterback.
Sometimes the backup quarterback. I think the thinking of like making the holder is like a guy who could end up like who could end up handling the ball quite a bit. You want to keep him warm. You want to keep him in the game. You want to keep him like with that kind of.
That makes sense.
So basically, if Tory Taylor like is only catching the punt, like 4 or 5 times a game, maybe less.
Yeah.
You want to just kind of like have them still in the game, still like in the mindset, still locked in.
So that assumes that. So I guess when you look at it this way, right? If you're punting a lot, that means you're not scoring.
Yeah.
But if you're scoring a lot, that means you're not punting a lot.
Yeah, so I think just keeping the hands warm, keeping yourself locked in. I think that's why they do it. I think that's probably why they used to do it with the backup quarterbacks, just in case they came in, like keeping them locked in.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I think it's been mostly the punters for quite a while.
Makes sense.
And then they kind of went to that Bengals game, which you already talked about at length, like the Fields throws and things like that. Was there anything else worth talking about in Hard Knocks? I got to be honest. It's just like what I've said before is it feels kind of vanilla. I don't think I would care if it's not the Bears. Maybe I'll watch again next year and see what it's like. But
I got 2 things. So I noticed the mouth guard thing.
Yeah, the chewing on
the mouth guard, and I made. Did you remember the joke I told you? Not joke, but
that our kids are going to be doing that.
Dude,
why do you say that? Just because it's cool?
Because that's what their quarterback is doing.
Yeah,
like if that's what your quarterback does, they're gonna imitate their quarterback. I'm implying that Caleb Williams will be here for like a decade and a half, and our kids are going to be watching him.
A decade and a half. Well, hopefully. Could be.
It was a long-term joke.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Last thing about the game, about Hard Knocks, that had to do with the game. This is so I was watching it live, and I should rewind it to watch it. And when they were doing the halftime adjustments, Shane Waldron was up on the whiteboard. Did you notice anything about it?
No.
It was blurred out.
Oh, really? Yeah, I did not notice that.
it was blurred out. And I went back and I checked it again. I was like, oh my God, it's blurred out. So I just bring this up. I bring this up because of the influence that the McCaskies or that the coaching staff or that just the overall Bears has on Hard Knocks.
Well,
that's why I brought that up.
That just feels like I could almost see Hard Knocks unilaterally being like,
dude, it was
we can't be showing the plays on the board.
Dude, it was a corner of a whiteboard. It was white. It was definitely blurred out.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I think Hard Knocks probably just knows not to be idiots and not be showing the team that Fallon's plays out there.
That's it. That's all I got on Hard Knocks.
I'm
excited for the next week. I think
how many more episodes are there?
I think one more.
Just one more?
There may be two. Sometimes they sneak in a second because cuts are happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
So like the episode will come out tomorrow. So they probably won't capture the cut stuff. So they'll probably capture the preseason.
Yeah.
They'll probably do one more episode for the cuts.
That's certainly that's got to be like a big thing. I think that they televise those. Like they have the cameras in the room when they're walking in and getting cut. That's gotta suck.
There's one of like the guy from the Jets facility, and like this was years and years ago, and like he got cut and he's like trying to get in the facility and they like his badge doesn't work anymore.
Oh my God.
He's just like
so immediately.
He's like, oh, I guess I got cut. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
At what point would you deactivate their badge?
I mean, the Jets did it immediately.
Yeah, but if you're Ryan Poles, like as soon as you walk out the office, like you have the button there, are you just going click, like, and you're out?
I mean, for like HR purposes, yeah, you kind of gotta like. I
think I'd give them 48 hours.
Oh, you're too kind.
I don't know. What are they gonna do? Trash the place? Move into the attic?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. But yeah, no, there'll be a couple more episodes.
Yeah, Velus Jones Jr., we haven't found him. We think he's still here. Like
he's making the team, by the way.
It's either a squirrel or it's Velus Jones Jr. rooting around in the attic.
He had a good game, though, honestly.
He did. Okay, yeah. Should we move on to the game a little bit?
We can move on to the KC game. So pretty vanilla game, if you will.
Yeah. But yeah, none of the starters.
Yeah, it was pretty chill.
So the wins are what they are. It's like 4-0. I mean, it doesn't mean all that much, but at the end of the day, like what I wanted to see is like top to bottom this roster, they played clean games. They tackled well. Like they executed and they won all of the games. Like I think it means something. I think it's just it's not a feather in the cap of really any of the players, I would say, as much as it is just Matt Eberflus's. I think it just looks good on the coaching staff. Like we aren't seeing a lot of silly, stupid stuff. Yeah.
So did you hear what Matt Eberflus's philosophy is? He brought it from Indy. Have you heard of HITS before?
No. What was it?
So it's an acronym. It stands for hustle, intensity, tackle, smart.
Okay.
And that he brings his HITS philosophy at every given point. And now what I'm going to tell that defense, even the backups, dude, they were tackling.
Yeah.
The hits were happening.
And I believe we had a pick 6, right? That was something. Or maybe,
after the turnover.
Yeah.
Or after the punt, the guy got backed into the punt. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We were returning the punt. He backed into it. He touched it, which was total BS. And then they recovered it. And then we had a pick 6 right after that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think what I've noticed in like one of the last Hard Knocks episode is that Flus really seems to like drill in like turnovers, hawk the ball. Like we want 3 turnovers or something like that.
Yeah, not enough. He's like, we only got 2. We need one more.
Yeah. And I'm going to talk a little bit about stats after this and kind of piggybacking on that. But, 34-21, starters didn't play. You mentioned Velus Jones Jr., which has become probably the more polarizing figure on the team. I'm not super emotionally invested as to whether or not he makes the team. But I've never paid all that much attention to like the final roster cuts and seeing like I've never really gotten emotionally invested in guys and see them get cut. But you know what? They're like, okay, it's not working in wide receiver. We're going to move you to running back. They moved him to running back, and Hard Knocks made it look like it's kind of rough, but he's got I think at least 3 touchdowns.
He's got juice,
and I think it was 13 carries, 100+ yards.
Well, he had the one play where it was kind of like a stretch play. It was stretched left, and like he just kind of like just cut it back across the field, and it was like, dude, like the thing about Velus Jones, like I can see him being a phenomenal kick and punt returner. Like you see the skills. He just can't catch the punt.
I think it's a very specialized thing to return punts. I don't think you can just plug in any fast guy and have him figure out how to do it. But he was great. I think he went to Tennessee. Didn't he go to Tennessee? I don't remember.
He was like wherever he went to school, he was the #1 punt returner in the nation. Like this is what he was made to do.
Okay. So why is it not clicking now?
I'm not sure. Where did he go?
He played Tennessee.
I told you.
He played at USC before transfer.
But he was the number one punt returner in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best. He was electric.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's these Aussie punters, the end over end, or the freaking spin they're put. I don't know, dude.
So, I think a lot of people are annoyed with him because there's this storyline that he's only still on the team because Poles doesn't want to cut the first offensive player he drafted. But I think the reason you can't cut him is like I said, okay, this isn't working. We want to try and make this work at running back. He jumped into it. He took it with a good attitude, and he's producing. If you went around and just cut him, then what happens the next time you try to do this to some player and that player just looks at this being like, yeah, you did this to Velus Jones Jr. last year. Yeah, I'll pretend to move to wide receiver. But my mind's already elsewhere. I know I'm out the door.
Okay, so to counter that, this isn't high school football. This is literally you're playing for your job, John.
But
for your paycheck.
Yeah.
So if you tell me you want me to go play running back now, guess what I'm gonna do? Yes, sir. I'm gonna collect my millions of dollars a year and play running back now.
Yeah, but okay, but I'm going to.
He has incentive.
But I'm going to put myself. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put myself out there, and risk injury or whatever else doing this position I'm not comfortable with. And then I can do a really good job and I do the things that you wanted me to do and then still not make the team. I think it's a bad look. I don't think they can cut him after doing that.
Velus Jones also had 2 huge muff punts last year.
Yeah.
Like, that's enough to be cut. Like, I don't think he'll get cut. He's doing a good job. And, like, obviously the storyline's out there of him being the top pick or the number one pick for polls. Like, he's probably not getting cut.
So the backups got some pretty good time in this game. I'm assuming that they're only going to keep 2 quarterbacks, and then they'll put Ripon on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Austin Reed, I mean, hopefully he finds...
The practice squad guy.
I'm not sure. I'd like to follow Austin Reed. Maybe just follow him on social media and then kind of see what happens, like, to someone after they get cut. Like, what's their day-to-day? Do they get...
Practice squad.
Do they get put on the... Does everybody get put on the practice squad? Do we need 2 practice squad quarterbacks? I don't know.
I think
it'd be interesting to follow.
I think most of them do. I mean, I feel like they can both give them some good looks.
Yes.
I mean,
so 8.5 yards a carry for Velus Jones.
Dude, he had a great run.
Yeah, Tyler Scott, who I think
I told you tore it up.
He's been playing really well, and like even in the practices I've seen, I think he's the deep threat. I think he's the guy that Caleb
stretches the field.
Yeah, will air it out to, and he could be a really good 4th option.
I think you wouldn't be surprised if he catches a couple touchdowns.
If you had to guess, 1 through 4. Yardage. Who's going to be what, and what are their numbers going to be? Like, who's gonna have the most receiving yards on the Bears?
I feel like just who's going to be the most. Oh, by the way, I looked up. Tyler Scott only ran a 4.4 40. Whoa.
4.4's not bad.
4.44.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's not blazing speed.
No, it's not like a 4.3 too.
Jordan Addison ran a 4.4 something.
Yeah. Whatever. All right. So you want me to guess in order?
Yeah.
So I would go most catches and
no, it's 2 yardage. It's 2 yards.
Most catches and most yards, DJ Moore.
Okay.
Without question.
Probably, yeah.
I would.
How many yards do you think?
I bet you he eclipses 1,200.
I was thinking 1,200 too.
Yeah, that's probably the number in my head.
And then how big of the drop off is 1 to 2? And who is it in your mind?
I bet you Keenan Allen has more receptions, but less yards.
You think so?
I bet you Rome I'm like that 45-yard reception that he has. I bet you Rome does more chunk plays.
I could buy that, and you end up having more yards.
Yeah,
I'm low key wondering if Dunze will pass Keenan Allen, but I think it might be a ridiculous thing, and that might just speak to my lack of familiarity with Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen might lead the team in touchdowns. He could, I think.
I don't know. Ready for a dark horse?
Dark horse who?
Who leads the team in touchdowns? Receptions. Receiving
touchdowns.
Yeah.
Who?
Cole Kmet.
You think so? Could be. No. Yes. He's not getting double figures. I think you got to get double figures.
I don't know, man. I think they're gonna run a lot of 31 personnel, and I think they're gonna have all 3 tight ends in the game, and they're gonna just motion them and get open. I
believe in Cole Kmet, but I think Cole Kmet has gotten a big bump in the eyes of Chicagoans for really no reason.
From Notre Dame.
I think he's
from Arlington Heights.
I think people just like him. I think he's just got the right look. Like, he just looks like a football player that you think is really good. Yeah. And he's gotten better year over year, but he's not a superstar. And people, I think, when we're putting together, like, we're talking about a receiving corps, I think people are talking about him like he is a superstar. And I think he's very much still got to prove that.
I would agree.
So no, I do not believe that Cole Kmet. I don't think Cole Kmet will be in the top 3 receiving touchdowns on this team.
He is from Arlington Heights, by the way.
Oh,
And
yeah?
he went to MD.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you think people love him so much?
Because he's super hot.
He is objectively a
Yeah.
good-looking man.
He really is.
And he's super jacked. He looks like a tight end.
I like the baseball thing.
Oh, yeah,
like
but-
the clip. You ever remember the clip where he does that?
Yeah.
Like someone pretends to throw the
Tosses him,
ball,
yeah.
and then someone like pretends to catch it like
Yeah.
over the thing.
The,
I
the
kinda
ch-
like
not the
that.
cheerleaders. I don't know.
It was just some guy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he was probably like some sort of staff, but
They definitely practiced that.
I don't know if they did. It felt real. Like
I think he played baseball too.
I'm sure he played baseball. He looks like a baseball player.
But next, and then what about rushing yards? Do you think DeAndre Swift's going to lead this team in rushing yards?
Yes, if he's healthy. I think that I'm super wondering what the running back room is going to look like. What the split's going to look like.
Rotating all 3 backs.
Yeah, nah. I mean, Swift's going to get all the third down work, I believe, and I think he's going to get like the ball thrown to him a lot more.
I think Herbert's more of a third down back.
No.
I think Swift is a between the 20s back.
Why do you say that?
Just because he's shifty, you can split him out at any given point.
But Swift's the guy who's got like the route running ability in the hands.
Yeah, which makes sense between the 20s.
That makes sense. That's who you put the third down back at. The first and second down back, the more running heavy downs, those are the ones you're going to put Khalil Herbert in. But I think
Herbert's fast.
I like Khalil Herbert. I think that there's a world in which he could have more.
I forgot about him honestly till the preseason.
I didn't forget about him, but so I mean it's interesting to see. I think it's going to be Swift for receiving yards and rushing yards, but I think Khalil Herbert will be in a change in pace. I think they'll probably run it like not necessarily like 2 plays one guy and 1 play another guy. I think Khalil Herbert will come in for like an entire drive or something like that, minus like third and longs. Maybe then Swift comes in for that.
Well, so they did it last year. Honestly,
Yeah,
it felt like they were like rotating full drives.
Yeah.
Like second half, they'd rotate them out.
I think that's kind of like the way the Bears typically play it. So yeah, the running back room will be interesting. Maybe Velus Jones Jr. will be the Cordell Patterson.
We forgot.
And we'll be
about
streaming
that.
him on waivers, like because he snipes all these touchdowns.
I doubt it that much.
27 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns a game.
That sounds like who's the backup? Tyler Algier. It's a Tyler Algier.
Just sniping.
From Bijan.
Yeah, exactly.
Last thing I want to say about the game though is Kevin Warren came on at halftime. Did you happen to catch that by any chance?
Maybe. I think I might have. What did he say?
So this is like he's talking about stadium and stuff like that. This is like the 4th or 5th time I've heard Kevin Warren speak. He's a very nice man to listen to.
He's boring. Yeah.
He talked a lot of words.
Yeah.
He spoke.
He's a politician.
Dude,
100%.
He spoke a lot of words. What did I walk away with? You want to build a world-class stadium. He said that 12 different ways.
Yeah.
And we really want to work with all of our key stakeholders. Did you just put in words and are you just an AI thesaurus?
Yeah, dude.
It's all he did. I was just not hating on Kevin Warren. I'm just saying he speaks a lot of words and doesn't have a lot of substance.
It's how people talk in like the higher echelon of like the business world.
I know.
It's just like it's a lot of buzzwords. It's a lot of just like kind of like it means whatever the person listening to it feels like it means. So they just kind of like fill in the blanks themselves what they want to believe.
But like I've heard the spiel 5 times, Kevin Warren. You got to get a new spiel. I've heard this presentation before. Like, and I want to see you do something. And they devoted a little bit of time in Hard Knocks to it. Did you remember what they were working on in Hard Knocks?
Oh, what?
They were working on like where they want to put the seats, the positions.
Oh, I did see this. Yes,
You want to be able to roll them, so if you're in the game, you can roll up. I'm like, this is what we're
like
worried
the
about.
temporary seats versus the like. Oh yeah, it's like classier. Like if it's like fixed seating, and I'm like, figure out where the stadium's going.
Dude, I was literally like, wait, but where is the stadium?
How the hell could you possibly be looking at the intricacies of the stadium that you don't even know where it's going to be?
That is literally exact my thought. I'm like, wait.
It just felt like filler.
I'm like, we're talking about the seats.
It was very much the vibe of like we've already got like these like planners on retainer, so we might as well make them keep doing shit and show up in Hard
Oh my
Knocks.
god, dude! I couldn't believe that's what they were talking. I was like, oh, I thought maybe we were meeting with the Arlington Heights people or the friends at the park.
Yeah,
no,
shaking the mayor's hand or something like that.
no, we're talking about seats.
Yeah.
For a non-existent stadium that we don't know where it's at.
Yeah, honestly, like Hard Knocks would be really cool if they kind of got into the nitty gritty of what the hell is actually going on there, but that would never actually happen.
I mean, that would probably be something the Bears are influencing. Would be that. Right there.
Not putting stuff like that out there.
Like we can
If
talk
they were
about it.
if they were a bad organization, they'd probably be accidentally putting stuff out there, like the struggles of like finding out where the stadium is going to be. But I guess it's probably better that they're kind of keeping that close to the chest.
I agree. But anyways, super pumped. preseason's officially over. We're done with preseason across, so we just have this waiting game until 2 Thursdays from now.
So speaking of business, Kevin, in my new role, I'm taking a more administrative job, and we had talked about before the importance of KPIs. And what does KPI stand for?
Key performance indicators.
So I want to do a new segment that we're going to just call KPI.
I love it.
And I'm gonna start. So basically, when my boss is looking at my KPIs, we got our baseline, kind of where we already are, or where we maybe a national average. You got your goal, and you got your stretch goal. And I want to throw out a couple of different KPIs for the Bears statistics, Bears season. And I want you to tell me what the baseline should be, or I'll give you kind of what the baseline is, kind of where we are. What the goal should be, and what the stretch goal should be.
Okay,
Goal just being okay, happy we got there, can't knock that at all. Stretch goal being it's attainable, but if we got there, it's we did it.
Okay. This is a cool segment.
So
this is completely off the cusp too. I didn't know this was coming.
So I'll start with kind of a little bit of a lower level one, just to kind of get us warmed up. So Bears, do you know in terms of sacks where the Bears were as a team in NFL rankings?
Probably middle of the road.
Second to last.
Oh, wow.
Second to last.
Okay, wow.
30 sacks on the season.
Wow.
Only team worse than us, the Carolina Panthers. Let me see if I can pull that up again.
That's funny.
So, obviously, Montez Sweat didn't play the first 2 months.
I think he had 6 sacks.
Defense. Oh, gosh. Special team, what the heck is it? I had it before. Rushing points per game. Special teams, regular season, total. Hold on. I'll find that again. So it was 30 sacks.
Okay.
Second to last.
Okay.
So that's our baseline is 30.
Okay, yeah. So it would be a good goal.
What do you think a good goal would be in terms of sacks?
So when you think about it, there's 17 games in a season now. I think you can count Sweat in for double-digit sacks. The new guy.
We got this Darryl Taylor.
Yeah, the new guy we just traded for. Give him.
You would hope for a good. Yes, 8 would be good for him.
I would think mid 40s would be phenomenal. So mid 40s would be what? About almost 3 a game.
Let's look at it. So mid 30s. So
mid
30s.
It's in mid 40s.
Oh, mid 40s. Okay.
Mid 40s would be about 3 per game.
So the Ravens led the league with 60.
But they had one of the best defenses ever.
So mid 40s, it does put you about the middle of the road.
Yeah, 3 sacks a game. Okay. I think that would be.
So you think we should be about middle of the road?
Yeah.
So throw a number out there.
45 sacks.
45 sacks.
I think 3 sacks, a little under 3 sacks a game.
That is exactly what the Packers got. So 3 sacks a game gets you 51
sacks. Yeah.
So 45. Okay, I think it's reasonable.
Yeah.
So I think 45 is a good goal. So stretch goal, something that feels kind of attainable, but probably the higher end. You're getting a bonus.
55.
55 puts you 4th in the league. I think it's reasonable. I think.
But the difference between 55 and 60 though, I feel once you get anything over that 49 mark is wow.
But we're talking
you hit the 5 mark.
But going here's maybe 45 isn't a great number because that is 1.5 times the amount of sacks, and all we did was add a guy who might get us 7 or 8.
That's not true because Sweat's there the whole year. The defense in general. How do you think sacks happen?
Coverage.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think coverage sacks. The Bears are going to get a lot of coverage sacks. Okay, right? That secondary is great. Jalen Johnson plays at what we expect him to play at. I'm not saying he's going to be Revis Island who shut down a third of the field, but I think he can shut down. Maybe a 4th of the field. And you could take away a 4th of the field at any given point of the game.
Yeah.
And you have some decent pass rushing going on, and you're playing with synergy, and you actually have a defensive coordinator that's calling the plays and not Eberflus.
Eberflus is going to be calling the plays.
Is he really?
He is calling he told us that. He kind of been splitting the time in preseason, but I believe he's continuing to call the plays. But that is actually where it turned around. Eberflus did well calling the plays.
I'd rather have him be the figurehead, man. Honestly.
Yeah, I could have either way, but
I'd still believe 50. I still believe 50 sacks.
My goal. So we talk about the Torrey Taylor drafted the 4th round, and they say he has a really good season. But if our defensive line our offensive line are ass, and that is one of the places that we probably could have built with that 4th round pick.
No,
it's possible.
We did. We addressed it with Houston.
We did. Houston.
Not Houston. Who's the other
Booker.
guy? Booker. Sorry.
Yeah. Booker's we got in the 5th round, maybe the 6th round.
We got back in the 5th.
Yeah. So for me, I think if we add 10 sacks, that's a 33% increase. So I think that's my goal. My stretch goal
40.
being my stretch goal being like 47. So I think if we get there, that's a huge jump.
45.
Like if you're sitting down, Eberflus sitting down in front of his boss, being like, "Last year I got you 30 sacks. This year I got you 40." I don't think he can sneeze at that.
I agree.
All right. But interestingly, you bring up defense, or you bring up pass coverage. Do you know where the Bears were in terms of interceptions last year?
So Jalen Johnson did a great job. I'm not looking. Jalen Johnson did a great job. Mm-hmm. I would say top end. They were actually, I believe, number one. Yeah, number one, tied with the San Francisco 49ers. Look at that.
Which is actually really crazy. They didn't have it, not great with fumbles. They only had 6 recovered. Well, they're plus minus. So they.
Well, do you remember the Detroit game? Because we went to the game too. We had like 4 picks in that game.
1, 2. So they were 6th in overall takeaways.
Nice. But
they were only plus 3 on the turnover differential.
Well, yeah.
So like very middle of the road.
Well, because Justin Fields was out there.
Fumbled the ball a lot. So turnover differential.
Oh.
I think we got to be plus 10. I think that's my KPI goal is plus 10. Stretch goal, leading the league.
Go in the bottom. I want to see who's the negatives.
Negatives, got the Commanders minus 14. That's pretty abysmal.
Kansas City minus 11, huh?
Interesting. Yeah, defense really did.
Eagles minus 10.
Only 17 turnovers. Only 8 interceptions for Kansas City. That's crazy.
They have a decent defense, too. Because what I was going to say was, where are the Niners at? Plus 10? So I was going to say, I think I was going to make a statement. There's a correlation, in my opinion. I think if the Bears have a significant plus turnover difference, there's no question that they're making the playoffs and could potentially win the division.
I think if this goes plus 3 to plus 10, I think they're winning the division.
I do too. That's what I agree. But then you look at this and you see KC at negative 10 winning the Super Bowl last year.
But you got Patrick Mahomes who's just not turning the ball over. I mean, KC's just an offensive minus. Well, I guess you're right. If they're still minus, but the only having 6 interceptions, that's abysmal.
Do you know what not the most, it's kind of related but not unrelated, but
8 interceptions for Kansas City.
What I find interesting sometimes, what I like to look at in basketball, one of my favorite stats is
what?
The rebound game.
Yeah.
Whoever wins the rebound game typically wins the game.
Yeah.
There's the correlation though of who's missing the shot.
Missing shots, exactly.
Right, which means you're going to get more rebounds, right? So it tells the story. It's like an if this, then that statement.
Okay.
So like when I think of turnover differentials, I always think about like, if you're giving the ball away more than you're taking it. What it doesn't take into account though is punts. And where the turnover is occurring. Points off turnovers is what I would love to see.
Yeah, that's true too. But I think that's obviously what it comes down to. But like if we get so granular and so specific with this, then like who ends up winning these games? The people who score the most points. More so than that, the point differential. That's how you win the game. So it's just like we can get super granular.
But where you turn over the ball is key, in my opinion. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's a great plan, but I've seen who would do this. But Big Ben sometimes I felt like did this. It would be like 3rd and long or whatever, like super long, and he's in his own end zone, and he just throws a bomb out there to get picked.
Serve it as a punt.
It's a punt.
Yeah, that could be true.
If it's a wasted turnover, you know. But so
it doesn't really indicate like it's not really as bad of a play as the stat book might show.
Correct. Another thing too, really quick before we go on, if you turn the ball over on downs, that's a turnover too.
I don't think it is for this purposes.
Oh, okay.
It's not in fantasy. I've always noticed that it's not.
It's a 4th down stop.
Yeah, but it's not a turnover. I don't believe turnover on downs is actually a turnover in the stats. Next KPI, passing yards per game. Bears were, I believe, 6th from the bottom, so like what is that, 26th in the league, with 182 pass yards per game. So that is our baseline. KPI, obviously, whole new look offense. What is our goal, do you believe?
Let's say 2.25.
2.25, so 225, that puts us at Jalen Hurts and the Eagles.
Yeah.
That feels a little high. It feels a little lofty.
The Eagles are a running team. Look at the rushing yards, 2,200.
Is that what that is here on the right? Yeah, you're right.
It's got to be.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess that puts middle of the pack. But the Packers are 233. This doesn't sound like a lot.
So what's 2.25 put us at then? At 3,800 yards? That makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, to throw for 4,000, you need Matt Stafford, you need Trevor Lawrence, you need Josh Allen. So yeah, 240s is what pretty much what Caleb would have to do to throw for 4,000 yards. So yeah, I think 2.25 is reasonable, but I think maybe even a little bit lower than that. I think, yeah, I'd say 220.
So who are some rookies? Who's the best rookies last year?
The best rookies last year, CJ
Quarterbacks.
Stroud. CJ Stroud.
And what did he throw?
He threw 245.
Oh my God,
Real
there's
good.
no
Real good.
chance.
Lions were a very, very throw-heavy team with 258. Cowboys.
Still them boys.
Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna say 220. My stretch goal put us at Jordan Love. Let's say 240. Stretch goal 240.
I like 2.25.
Yeah.
Actually, I made an interesting bet, Johnny.
What's your bet?
I placed a bet actually.
Mm-hmm.
For the Chicago Bears to throw a touchdown in every single game.
What did that pay?
It's like I think it's I don't know like I think $5 pays $70.
That's it. I don't know.
What do you mean?
I guess it's not crazy.
It's not crazy.
I'm just I guess for a real quarterback on a real NFL team, it's not a crazy bet.
It's really not that crazy.
But that's just such a long play, man.
Well, it's fun. I mean, every game you can root for a touchdown.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean, I hope I don't lose at week 1.
The last KPI, potentially the most important KPI,
wins.
Yeah. So our baseline. So what did we have last year? What was it? 7?
Whatever number you
7.
say, John, I'm gonna say over.
7. Well, okay. So no, but like the KPI,
9 gets you to the playoffs.
maybe not always. 9 you could be
9 and 8's gonna get you.
You could be one of the last teams out at 9 and 8.
9 and 8's gonna get you to the playoffs, I think. In the okay. And then I think 12 wins the division.
So that's your goal is 9.
9.
Stretch goal 12.
12 wins the division.
I think that's fine.
The NFC
I'd
North.
be fine with 9 if we make the playoffs, but if we get 9 and we're like the last team out, I think I'd have a little bit of it. If I'm going into my boss being like showing these numbers.
You know what I would tell my boss at that
Yeah.
point? I would tell him 7 teams make the playoffs now, and under 500 teams have made the playoffs before. So if you win more than you lose, you should make the playoffs.
But
in the NFL.
you telling the boss, yeah, I gave you all this stuff, and we got rid of Justin Fields because you demanded it, and you gave me 2 more wins this year. I think it's got to be 9 in a playoff game or 10 all day.
But you know what I am going to tell my boss after that? 2025 is going to be great.
Yeah.
This is a setup year.
Yeah.
We're setting ourselves up for major growth in 2025.
Yeah,
the trajectory.
Our position in the market is strong.
There you go. You're getting it.
All right. Yeah. So I think my goal would be 9, but you have to make playoffs or 10 all day. And I think 12 and winning the division is probably the stretch goal here.
12. If they hit 12, they should win the division. Like there's a 12-5 team that doesn't win the division is scary.
How are you feeling if this year ends? We got 10 or 11 wins. We make the playoffs. We lose round 1. Are you like this is
a home game?
Exactly. Maybe not. I mean, we have to win the division to get a home game. I think. Maybe not. Maybe
not necessarily. Oh yeah, you do have to win because there's 4 divisions. Yeah, you have to win the division.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we win the division and we lose round 1 and we lose a home.
Are you looking back at the season being like, that's all right, we're moving in the right direction?
Yeah, but I would be a little concerned though because losing a home playoff game is that's not huge, especially right away. But like think about it last year when part of the aura of CJ Stroud is he went up to Cleveland and he beat them in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And
but it was Joe Flacco, but
still though,
he would have been playing well.
In a away game though, like winning an away game as a quarterback in the playoffs, like the expectations are so low. Like you're not supposed to win an away game as a rookie quarterback. But a home game, you'd hope to see so
we lose a home game and you're not feeling good about going to the boss. We lose an away game. You're like, this is growth.
We're playing with house money.
Yeah.
Whereas at least we made it close to a bunch of positives. But you lose a close game, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's not like you're not getting the warm fuzzies.
Right. I don't feel that. So
one other point I'm going to make.
Sure.
Joe Burrow, I think, is a prime example. He had all that success in his first run of not his rookie year, his
first real year,
his second year when he got Jamar Chase, and he made it to the NFL Super Bowl, and they lost to KC. Now,
Wow, was that really his second year?
yeah, it was his second year.
Wow.
But what I'm saying though is that like because of that run, the aura of Joe Burrow is well, he's an absolute elite quarterback. And I'm saying he's not an elite quarterback, but he's kind of been okay.
He's still got to show us, like, you know, that
It doesn't matter.
He's gotten a lot of clout based on that one run.
But the mind sees the success at the largest level in the playoffs, winning games. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you lose a home playoff game, like people start talking, and like maybe in Chicago we're okay with it, but like national media's mean.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're very mean, and like once you get that perception,
yeah, you can't feel good about any of the losses if you're Joe Burrow.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, so that's KPI. Maybe we'll revisit that segment for, like, you know, where we're kind of trying to crunch some numbers in the games throughout the year. But yeah, I thought that was a fun one.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, and some around the league talk.
Sure.
Something you're very emotionally invested in.
CeeDee Lamb finally signed his contract. He missed all of training camp. I did have a quick little take on this. I think they did this intentionally to drive down his fantasy value to reduce the pressure on him.
Yeah?
Well, think about it. If you're like
Just all the death tweets he's getting all the time when he's not producing in fantasy.
Exactly. So CMC, for example, like he has to perform because he's the one overall pick.
Right.
So like, but if
It's a lot of pressure to have on a guy.
that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of pressure. I do love doing this. So he's the second highest non-quarterback at $143 million a year. I always think
In history.
In history,
yeah.
I think it's ridiculous to play non-quarter, especially a receiver, because if you don't have a quarterback getting the guy the ball. Think of Devontae Adams, for example. Like,
what's the point of paying him any money?
Exactly, right? But here's what it is. So do you know how much $143 million is per week?
No, I don't know how much it is ever.
I'm just gonna help you out here. It's about $654,000 per week.
We're talking just a week of the year.
Yeah, a week of the year.
Wow.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Now, say he works a 40-hour week. No, it's just fun. It's just fun. How much do you think he makes an hour?
$2,000 an hour.
Oh my gosh, $16,346.15.
See, it's like it's inconceivable amount of money to me.
So I agree.
$16,000 an hour, working 40 hours a week. Okay.
Yeah. So like, man, it's just really funny because when I got my first job, I used to make $8 an hour, and I would justify things. And what I would do, I would be like, okay, so if I'm gonna spend an hour of my time, it cost me $8 to earn that. Like a better, like the cost benefit. If you're making $16,000 an hour.
Yeah, you're gonna have pink hair in your Instagram photos, and you're not gonna care what Kevin Haggerty has to say about you being a distraction.
That is just so much. I just can't understand that kind of money. Like
absolutely not.
That is an hour.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's actually kind of surprising, just because it seemed like Jerry Jones just felt no urgency to get it done. I think that was probably just for the media. Obviously things were going on in the background where.
He had do you see all his quotes? He was like, no one can do his fucking job better than me. Like literally saying the F word. Like, I've done this. I know how to do this. No one can do it better than me. It's like, Jerry, relax. You're 85. Like
I'm watching Get Up in the morning. They just like segment on segment, just like lambasting Jerry Jones for being a cheapskate. So he paid the man. That's good. The Cowboys better get it together though.
Dude, they gotta pay Dak at this season. They gotta pay Parsons. And Jerry Jones is 81 years old. Just so you know.
Probably not as old as the McCaskey guy. Maybe he is. Well, not the McCaskey lady for sure. And then you wanted to talk about the Tom Brady. I've seen a couple of clips of this. You know. Yeah. Very candid, it seems like. And Tom Brady, I'm a little bit annoyed for him just already being like the back in my day type of guy. But I guess his coming up was 20 years ago. So what kind of things did you take away from his little speech? Okay, so agreed. I'm kind of annoyed by it too, because he's almost by doing this and doing these sort of things. I'm not saying he's wrong by any means. But what I am saying though is that he's like, well, what did he say? He's helping his legacy. So what did he say? Basically, he's saying that like quarterbacks now they dumb down the playbook. They're not reading defenses. Which, to his credit though, do you remember Peyton Manning used to like literally audible at the line and like literally call 4 plays in the huddle, like audible call out like Mike this, like call out blitzes. Aaron Rodgers does it too. Like he's part of that old guard. Like. There was this clip in training camp when he's like taking shotgun, and there's like someone's coming to blitz. He's like, "You're not coming. Stop. Get back. Get back. You're not coming." And what does he do? He bails out immediately. And I'm like, but what I'm saying though is that like that play, that type of you don't see that really anymore. So he talked a lot about. So I think that came up because he's talking about like playing these rookies. Yeah, I was gonna get to that, right? So like. I think, but by him talking about saying like
They dumb down the playbooks. They make it hard. They're not learning what to do. He's more like glorifying himself and he's trying to improve his legacy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm also saying like, dude, you just retired 2 years ago or a year ago. Chill out.
But no, so I think that.
Chill.
So I mean, there's probably some subtext to that, but I think what the point he was making was just like he understands what the owners are doing because you've got to play these rookies.
You have
now.
to
Because Jordan Love's a tough situation. Like he played him for 1 year and then they had to pay him.
Yep.
Like Tom Brady is saying, you have to figure out as an owner knowing what you have at your quarterback.
Yep.
Because at the end of their first contract, you're there on the books for 20% of your salary cap. So you got to play him. And they don't have the same development time that he did, learning offenses, learning how to read things. So that's why I said they have to dumb it down, which I think is a little bit of an exaggeration. But that's like an interesting take.
It is.
Because this was not the case up until about 15 years ago, where all of these rookie quarterbacks are getting thrown into the fire and they're sink or swim. And I think a lot of quarterbacks' careers probably get ruined just because they're just not in a position to sink or swim like that.
Agreed. So the quote that he had exactly was, there used to be college programs and now there are college teams. You're no longer learning a program, you're learning a playbook, which I think kind of speaks to the aura of the transfer portal now and the NI.
But I don't understand what it means. I mean, it feels like, to me, I get that to the sense.
He's saying he spent 5 years at Michigan. He wasn't a starter right away. He had to earn his way in the field by learning the playbook inside and out. Not like, hey, I'm in the transfer portal. I don't like my situation, so I'm going to go play with Deion Sanders and start immediately. That's what he's saying, I think.
But you still got to learn to the same degree.
No, he's saying then they're dumbing it down. So there's not this long-term commitment anymore that you're making to a university. He's a Wolverine through and through.
Yeah.
Right. He bleeds Michigan blue, all that BS, whatever you want to say, right? And he spent all day learning that playbook the whole time.
But he's saying that's not what you used to do. You learned a program, not a playbook. You keep saying learn a playbook.
Playbook. I'm programmed. You learn.
What does it mean to learn a
Michigan way? The Michigan way.
I guess.
I don't
know what that really
Michigan
means.
blue.
That feels very abstract to me. I think I understand the idea of you're a redshirt freshman and you're growing up in this one place, but I don't think it really speaks to the how much harder or easier it is to learn as a quarterback. Whether you transfer once you have a position to go elsewhere.
How about, did you ever hear Joe Burrow if Ohio State can claim him or if LSU can claim him? You ever heard this argument?
No.
So Joe Burrow went to Ohio State for his first 2 years, then he transferred to LSU and had that unbelievable season. Do you know what he says?
What did he say?
He went to college at OSU, but he played football at LSU.
What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
He had a lot of fun at OSU.
Okay.
But I make this point because think about all the because how much development you did as a human in college. You grow into your own, you grow into yourself.
Yeah.
These guys now, they're transferring portals every 2 years. Who's the guy from Florida State and they just lost in Dublin, Ireland? He was higher rated than CJ Stroud coming out of high school, and now he's been in 4 different programs and he's done nothing.
Yeah, no, I think it waters down the magic of college football.
Not only that, but waters down the ability that these guys are coming out. Caleb Williams, for example, transfer portal guy too.
Yeah,
he should have stayed at Oklahoma for. It's rare to see now. Now let's take a quick pause. I mean, I would love, hang on, because I have a quarterback that I want to talk about, but I want to make sure that I'm 100% right before I say this.
Okay, what?
Okay, hang on. Never mind.
What? You were wrong?
I'm wrong.
Okay, what were you about to say?
I was hoping Bo Nix was a 5-year guy. He's not.
He's not a 5-year guy?
No.
Okay, where did he go?
5. So he went to Auburn for 3, then he transferred to Oregon.
Yeah. So I mean like I said, I think it takes away from the magic of college. Just a guy you grew up in this program. I feel like it takes away from some of the charm. But I've never been a big college guy, college sports fan myself.
Know what we're gonna do after this though?
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna run NCAA.
Sure.
I'm gonna beat your ass again.
We'll see. Right. I think that's all I got for this week, though.
Yeah, no, I think we talked much longer than we could have talked about it, honestly.
All right, well, guys, feel free to like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. We're just about to get into the Bears season. If you're still watching here, you're a real one. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes.
You're a real one. Sorry.
Shout out to my brother, my friend that I've John McGuire that I've known, yes, for 20 years at this point, and anyone else who might still be watching. But Kevin, you want to throw the hat?
Let's see if I can get it this time. Ready?
Peace.
Did you edit it last time? Did I hit it?